Hello, true believers, and welcome back to another edition of BK's Bullets, another DC animated classic review for you guys today. And I will be looking at 2000's Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Now, before I begin today's video, I have but one simple request for you, and that is to subscribe to Brent's channel. He greatly appreciates the support. He's been doing some really cool stuff. I know I already talked about this last week, but I'm going to highlight it again, how much I love that Spawn figure that he has from Todd McFarlane, and I wish I had it, and I don't. And when I go see Brent here in a couple weeks, I just might take it. So you might see it on the chair behind me in the immediate future. Now, today, talking about Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. This was the third ever direct-to-video animated video that came out in the DC lineage. So really early on in their animated careers. This movie, there's a lot of controversy kind of surrounding this movie, which I didn't know about until after I watched it. First and foremost was that Batman Arkham was actually going to be the intended sequel to Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. When that fell apart, this went into production, and they decided that they wanted to kind of highlight some of the period and the time jump. So that's why you have Joker kind of make a return, and you're kind of trying to understand what's going on in that time frame. Interestingly enough, it was scheduled to release in 2000, but because of Columbine High School, that incident, it was delayed because there was a lot of backlash against the violence, and kind of DC felt that this video would be construed negatively. So it was delayed. And in addition, they actually changed a little bit of the ending from a gunshot wound to an electrocution and kind of surrounded by this tubing. So slightly different variants there as well. They did ultimately, in 2002, I believe, re-release the film with a PG rating, and it was then considered the original uncut version, which did change Joker's death scene, but the rest of the film itself remained the same. So pretty interesting, a little lineage there for you guys, a little history lesson on DC's trials and tribulations. The question is, did I like it? And I did. I'm a big fan of Batman Beyond, and I've always been a big fan of like these kind of alternate Batmans. Now, I don't know whether or not Batman Beyond is considered the true canon to after what happens when Bruce Wayne gets old. Clearly you have the Dark Knight Returns, which is the best ever. There's no Batman Beyond there, and it's not nearly as far in the future, but regardless if this was technically considered an Elseworld tale or not, I like Batman Beyond. I like the concept that Bruce Wayne understands he has physical limitations and passes on the mantle, or some variant of the mantle, onto the next generation. And I've always really liked the fact that Batman Beyond features this kind of alternate weird future where you have, like he has boosters, and there's a lot more computers and types of gadgets and stuff. And even the landscape of kind of the city that they go around in is very different. And I like that. And I thought that was cool. And they definitely stick to that here. The big change, obviously, being the Joker making a comeback. Now, the Joker was presumed dead. And magically reappears. It turns out that he had somehow programmed his memory into this little data chip, and he had like kind of taken over Tim's body to kind of become the Joker again. He's kind of like Joker 2.0 in a sense. They kind of figure out what's going on, and they are able to, break the little chip, and then Joker dies again. And that goes back to that scene, whether, depending on the variant you get to see. I did see them both on YouTube. Just they're very, very similar except for that final scene, whether Joker gets shot or whether Joker gets electrocuted. But largely in the fact that the idea of the Joker vanishes once again into the nether, and we're back with all of our heroes. Now, the undertale to all of this, though, is Batman, the original Batman, Bruce Wayne, his kind of guilt over what had happened with the whole situation, putting, younger Batman at risk, him seeing Joker come back, his immediate reaction is, you can't be Batman anymore because Joker's just so terrifying to Bruce Wayne. And I really like that vulnerability. I don't know necessarily how they play it off in the comic books, which I don't read anymore, but I was a fan of the fact that Batman shows a big vulnerability here. A lot of times Batman is always like, Mr. One-liner. He's always got the right tool for the job. He always finds a way to win. He's fearless. He's menacing. He's always looming in the shadow. He's always one step ahead of you, whatever. I liked that in this variant. We saw fear, genuine, legitimate fear from Bruce Wayne about the Joker, so much so that, you look, and it's kind of the like I said, the side story of this, you kind of reflect on his life of all the other people, the other Robins he's put at risk, and, worrying about Tim Drake and kind of that whole situation, worrying about, Terry and kind of what he's going through. So I like that Batman shows vulnerability, and I thought that was a really mature part of this. So when I read through all of these scandals, about how, well, there was this uncut version, and we wanted to make sure we were being politically correct, I thought that was really overshadowing the meat of the story here, which was really this vulnerability, and I like that a lot. I thought the soundtrack was actually really, really good. It's all by Christopher Carter. I couldn't find much on him. I don't know if he's done other things, but the opening scene, for sure, the actual main title, was a really cool song. It really kind of just gets you in the mood for like a high energy film. And I think this film definitely doesn't disappoint. I mean, the opening like 10 minutes is just this giant heist that kind of gets broken up by Batman, sort of. He kind of successfully stops these guys. And I like that a lot. I thought that it just comes off with a bang, and then there's a lot of, reflection, and like I said, that other layer there as well. So all in all, I thought it was actually a really interesting film. I would definitely recommend it. I was trying to look to see kind of where the reception is. Ultimately, it looks like it did pretty well. It won an Annie Award. I'm not really sure what the heck that is. For the best animated home video production. It was nominated for some other things. Ultimately, the Metacritic sits at around a 77 out of 100, which is actually a very respectable score. Unfortunately, I cannot find any data on how much it made. A lot of times, Wikipedia will give you a little blurb, it made this much at home or whatever. I mean, clearly, it did well enough that they continued more animated films, so in that sense, it wasn't a complete wash. But yeah, if you're a fan of really anything Batman, and you definitely Batman Beyond, or if you're kind of in the mood for a tale where our real Batman, Bruce Wayne, isn't always like one step ahead of everything, I think you really will enjoy this. I think there's a lot to unpack here, and for that, it was really good. I'd be remiss not to end this video by saying the voice acting, once again, phenomenal. Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap. I know he was in other stuff, but to me, that's all I really recognize him for. Mark Hamill reprising his role as the Joker, and Kevin Conroy, of course, as Batman. Just phenomenal. They really steal the scenes. Joker in particular, that such a distinct voice that Mark Hamill is able to put on for the Joker, that maniacal laugh and just kind of his evil intentions and how ruthless he is, I think really packages this up well. So yeah, thumbs up for me. I really enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoyed my review of it. Leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts, and we'll see where we go next week. I don't know. Not running out of films quite yet, but I think I'd say we're in like 30% done, maybe more. I don't know. I don't know how many Brent has. He's buying more. Every time I go in there, I have to keep scrolling down because there's all these new ones at the top, and eventually we'll get to those. But remember, this is the animated classics, so we're trying to go back in time. So stay tuned for another episode next week to see where we go next. But for now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys in the funny pages.